Because you guys didn't discuss anything related to Virgin Valley Water District?
No, I can't say we discussed nothing related to the Virgin Valley Water District. I wanted to know what it was. I had never heard of it.
So basically all you discussed was what the Virgin Valley Water District was? That's it?
No, that's not. It would take an awful lot of detail to spend 3 hours talking about what the Virgin Valley Water District was. No, as I said to you before, George Benish taught me the modicum of knowledge that I have about water rights, and he did it in 3 hours.
And in addition to that, well, let me ask you this. The only thing you guys talked about in those 3 hours was his education to you of what water rights were generally. Is that your testimony?
Yeah, he was talking to me about water having to flow through one place and into another place before it could, and the difference between groundwater and some other kind of water, which I don't even remember right now. And that's what we talked about. I mean, when I say to you I knew nothing about water rights, I'm not underestimating it.
Okay, so just so that I'm clear, what took place in that 3 hour meeting was basically an education on water rights and then maybe very basic discussion of what VVWD was. Is that correct?
That would be a fair statement.
Your Honor, I'd like to, similar to these emails, I was handed another document this morning I've never seen before. I'd also like to, the same that we did with the emails, show it to the witness and ask him some questions about it.
Are these my notes?
Yes.
Are these my notes?
I have much better collation this time, Your Honor.
Okay, good. Why don't you have one submitted to the clerk on the meeting, and we'll put one up there with Mr. Gentile. And this is going to be, do you want to do anything with QQ?
Yes, Your Honor, if we haven't already admitted QQ, can we please admit that?
Is there any objection to your letter, Mr. Gronowski?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, QQ is admitted. And now RR, these are, I don't know what they are, but it look like, I've heard they're Mr. Gentile's notes. You want to admit these?
Yes.
Do you have any objection to admitting these, Mr.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, RR is admitted as well. That's RR.
Mr. Gentile, you have in front of you Exhibit RR. Is that your writing?
It is.
These are your notes from the June 21st, 2011 meeting with George Benish and John Linetti?
They are.
And you stated that if there was discussion about Virgin Valley Water District, it was just basically what Virgin Valley Water District was. I guess one of my, Your Honor, can I approach?
Sure. Do you have Q? Okay, we have a little point of order. The clerk may not have QQ. Where is it? That's those.
It's not marked.
That's all
One
right.
I have isn't marked.
Yeah, Judge, this was the only copy that I have.
All right, let's admit it with the understanding that during the break, the clerk will make a copy and give you a copy. Here's the week. Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Gentile, can you please decipher for me what this says?
Benish represented the agent. Benish represented their agent, City of Mesquite.
Okay. Below that, it says, well, will you read what's below that?
Sure, it says led to legislation for VVWD creation. Benish GC from creation until a year and a half ago.
Okay. GC, what does that stand for?
General Counsel.
Okay. So you knew that Mr. Benish had been general counsel for 17 years at the time you met with him. That looks like that.
I learned it that day.
Okay. If you turn to the next page.
Hold on a second. I'm not sure if I should have got this. I'm sorry. I was dealing with that QQ situation. What are these notes contemporaneous with? Is this from the?
This is the June 21st, 2011 meeting with
That's
George
what I thought it
Benish
was. I
and
just
John
wanted to be sure. Okay, good. These are notes taken contemporaneous with the 3 hour meeting by you, Mr. Gentile. Is that it?
That's correct.
Okay.
Mr. Gentile, are these all of your notes from that meeting?
Yes.
You have no other written documents that came from that meeting?
I haven't personally checked, okay, but this is, to my memory, this is all I took.
What about documents that would have been exchanged at that meeting? Did Mr. Benish bring documents down with him?
No, Mr. Linetti did. The only thing that I remember Mr. Benish dealing with as far as a document, and I don't know whether it was Mr. Linetti that brought them or not, were maps, as I was saying to you before, maps.
And
Geological maps, as I recall, and that's the only thing I remember Mr. Benish had.
And then after this meeting, Mr. Benish was instructed to go get basically documents between Virgin Valley Water District and SNWA and other agreements, correct?
I don't think he was instructed. I think that he indicated, as we were going through these discussions, I needed to know what type of documentation there would be. I had never been through an event like this before. And so he may have been requested.
That's what the email was we referred to before, right? The 2000-2008 agreement. That was him providing the documents that you guys had discussed.
Was it after the June 23rd? Is that it? Yeah, there you go. Probably. This June 23rd email probably relates to some document that we either had or had or didn't have, or perhaps the one that we had wasn't signed, something.
So in the June 21st meeting, you guys were discussing the 2008 agreement, possibly the 2000 agreement, and then on June 23rd, when he sent you those agreements, those were coming in response to the meeting you had on the 21st.
I don't know that we discussed the 2000 agreement or the 2008 agreement, other than the fact that there was one. Okay, but the actual, when you say discuss the agreement, I mean, I'm sure we did not, because I knew very little at that point in time about the agreement.
But didn't the entire criminal investigation stem from the 2008 agreement? I mean, that's basically what the criminal investigation is about,
Right, but I believe I may have had that already from Mark DiGiacomo. He may have sent that to me.
The 2008 agreement.
Whatever the criminal complaint was based upon. Mark was very solicitous of wanting to talk to John Linetti. He thought John Linetti could help him with his case, or that John Linetti was a subject, not a target, but a potential subject of an investigation. I don't know if you know the difference, but there's a big difference. And so Mark DiGiacomo may very well have sent me that agreement.
Okay. But George Benish, for some reason, is sending you those two agreements, so...
Right, for some reason he is, but I don't know what his reason is.
Okay. Will you turn to the second page of your notes, please? And will you read this section, please?
Well, it's a chart, and it's basically an organizational chart, because I had no idea how water rates worked. In fact, this chart kind of shows you that. And it starts off with a state engineer who apparently was the state engineer, I guess, declares the water rights. And it shows a connection between the state engineer and Virgin Valley Water District, and a connection between the state engineer and the Southern Nevada Water Authority, and then it shows how the two of those drop down and are both political subdivisions of the state of Nevada.
And the reason that you guys were discussing Virgin Valley Water District and SNWA is because those were two of the parties involved in the 2008 transaction with Mr. Linetti, correct?
Well, they were mentioned in the criminal case.
Arising from the 2008 transaction I just described, right?
Yeah, I had to learn who they were and